I'm good, I'm here.
You're here?
Yeah.
Oh, I was getting into it. I was like playing some like backing music, royalty. No, like I think the one thing that people don't need to hear is this Yorkshireman, this apparent vampire rapping freestyle. But Subrosa getting the first pick. That's like a quarter of the kills that he got on the scent, so that's a good start for him at least. But look how aggressive this defense is. Drone is just going all the way in, gets the kill onto Shinobi, and this is kind of what I mean. TSM already a lot more comfortable on bind than he ever did on the scent in that last map.
And it starts so well. 3-man push toward Catwalk, rotate back for Broza waiting at the U. 2 kills with the Ghost. We put the wall up, we get the spike at least. No, the Molly's on the ground. Mitch burns. That's a flawless round of 4K for Subrosa. No spike plant and a pistol round. Flawless for TSM.
And also TSM without the Sage. So this is less than just a one-map strategy. This is the map that, like, I don't necessarily think TSM took influence from it, but on the other side of the Atlantic, this is the map that Fabrican very much liked to run without the Sage. This was the first team that really did it. The people were like, what are they doing? What is this? Like, this Morpheus, like, they're beginning to believe, and it just sort of seemed to work out super nicely. But it is just because of these executes, and what it is all about is really just playing retake, because you have such an aggressive lineup without the Sage. You have the Phoenix, the Raze, the Sova. The controller's there to sort of control the stem of operator spam that you will gradually see as this game goes on. To be fair, we didn't really see it on Ascent, to be honest, which is puzzling, but in EU, it's double initiator, it's the Breach and the Sova, and it's just super aggressive. So right now, you're just going to see Team SoloMid play relatively passively, maybe even let the spike go down, and then just retake like that. Cutler could sit back a little bit, let Tens run at him, and he's just going to outfrag him because he has that kind of utility.
Well, at least get the spike down. We have a Shark Dart coming through as well. Should be an easy defuse coming across. Look at Wardell. He doesn't care. 13-1 last bam. I'm going to bunny hop through the molly. I'm going to try to find you, Vice. And Vice now forced to fall back. It's going to be the defuse coming through. I think at this point, because I guess he invested on that 500 credits for that Ghost, pretty much an impossible task for them to win. So he's going to save that into the next round. 2 unanswered rounds now for TSM. Going into the third, where we won't really see a big upgrade coming in for the defender side.
And this is pretty much a perfect start, I suppose, for TSM. Almost getting the same amount of rounds, as we saw on Ascent. So, like I said, this is just where you expect them to sort of pipe up a little bit more. Cloud9 attacking first is going to be difficult for them. Their defense was solid, obviously, on Ascent. And when it came to the attacking side, they didn't really need to do that much when it came to getting, like 3 rounds maximum. So that's something going to be more challenging, I suppose, going on to bind. Attacking. Defending isn't, the stalwart best side to be on. But it's all the plays that Cloud9 need to make. It seems that Team SoloMid are prepared. Case in point, Wardell getting the operator shot into Relics.
That's right. And the other ones haven't really seen an upgrade, right? We saw 2 Ghosts, 2 Spectres, going in for TSM as well. And they have a 3-man stack towards his B sign because Wardell could pretty much hold it on his own. One thing that's different here that I kind of like is that usually I always see Cutler playing as the Cypher, but he switched over to a Raze, as you mentioned before here, Ryan. And this is interesting because they don't have trap wires, they don't have information as well. So yes, there's one thing about playing Sageless, but there's also one thing playing Sageless and also no Cypher for extra information.
And I like how aggressive Subrosa is trying to play towards the bathhouse. Vice is there, though. Molotov's going to break him apart a little bit, but is going to gradually start to push ahead, making it... Tens is just played super aggro. He's been cut off every single time, but this time it's Mitch. Wardell's positioning is good. That's a third. He can't fight close range when it comes to Tens being right up in his grill. Vice has upped up things a little bit more in this 2 versus 3. The spike isn't planted, which allows time for this rotation to come in. Vice is still taking these engagements, beats Hazed, even with the delayed paranoia. He's going more aggressive. Now it's a clean 1v1 with Tens. You've got to say he might be able to take it.
And he won't. Drone gets the headshot there with the Bulldog. He's looking for the operator at the same time, too. It was almost lost, a 5 versus 2. For TSM. Some nice shots coming in from Wardell. He's angry coming in. You can hear him screaming while he's getting those kills through the team chat. But because Tens was so close, he was in the middle of a reload, he had to go for a no-scope. And unfortunately, look at the draw with the RNG. He didn't hit it. It would have been super nice for a highlight reel, but it did not happen. But at least getting that 1 versus 1, a nice attempt from Vice and from Tens. It's still going to be a 3rd unanswered round here for TSM.
What I want to see, sort of like 6 months to a year in the future, is like a supercut of all of these times that Wardell just shouts, complete obscenities, just like a really fast supercut of all of the stuff that he comes out with, because it's rugged, but it's beautiful. It's art, I'm pretty sure. When he speaks, I listen. That's to say the least. But right now, this has been good for TSM. Perfect start, similar to how C9 started on Ascent. Cloud9 not really having the guns. It's going to be Sheriff C. Have been able to get a little bit of damage in, and they're putting Drone under a little bit of pressure in his position, but the double peek with Haze is going to be good. They have the two flashes, even putting that in there, but Cutler gets the first pick on the 10s, who thought that he was covered up by the smoke. Nice placement, and this just looks easy now for TSM.
Yeah, and why? Because also, as the operator, there's not really much being thrown at him in terms of blocking his vision. But everybody's winning fights. This is looking to, I think it's close to a team ace at this point. Every single person so far got a frag for the team here for TSM, leaving only one more. Looking to be hunted down by, and to Shinobi. He's spotted now, but Sobroza gets the kill. And that was an eagle coming in for Cloud9. Nothing really you could really pull out of it for Cloud9, or nothing you could say. For them to lose that round. So hopefully into this one, when they have that money, things might be a little bit different.
Yeah, not really. Too much could be done. Maybe just getting a kill to ruin the economy a little bit, but when you've won 4 rounds in a row, you can pretty much buy any gun that you want at this point. Curious to see if any other members of TSM have picked up operators. It is just going to be Wardell for now, not going to be bolstering up these big sniper guns in multiple places. But to be fair, that's the good thing about watching a good operator player play, is just they change up their positioning, they play aggressively in some places, they move to the B site and then the A site. It's very difficult for C9 to predict, C9 to predict exactly where TSM are going to be holding with this operator, and that's a lot of intel scouted out.
Yeah, oh no, a collateral from Wardell, a third shot onto 10s. They're moving in from the short A right now. He's clearing in towards this cubby of the short A. By the site, it is going to be the Silva just on the other side, and he connects for a fourth, looking for the ace so we can donate to the United Way of New York City. Vice is the last one to go here, rotating back as the spike is down. It is going to be an impossible feat for him right now.
Who is this guy? Like, this isn't even Valorant. This is just Wardell's mind. He's just dominating that much. Drone opening up the kill for Wardell to get the ace still. That's exactly
Wardell's
why
like,
he
give it
died
to me,
there.
give it to me.
He's shouting at his team. You've never heard anything like this. I don't think he's streaming, but I think I can hear him all the way from Europe. That's the ace. That's how it's done. This guy don't miss. This guy don't miss.
That it was such a nice round there for Wardell. And now you're starting to shake your pants playing Cloud9. Yes, you have that confidence moving in for 13-1 against the top team in North America, potentially the world. And you're coming in with so much confidence into the second one, and now you're just getting thrown around the map like nobody's tomorrow. They're just getting wrecked right now. So the morale, I would think that it's kind of low. They need to step it up now.
Relics and Mitch and Shinobi, who all had, strong games, decent games on Ascent. Like I said, they weren't top fragging, they weren't on 10's level of territory, but they won a lot of these engagements. But this is the problem. It's that inconsistency. This is the difficult thing about Cloud9. Do we get new players when we know that these players can sometimes pop off against the best in the world? Or do we get players that could just fall apart like this? That's the tricky thing that Cloud9 have to deal with at the moment. And it would be a shame to lose out this game in this fashion, because it just means that Cloud9 yet again have to struggle with a decision on how to play these players and what to do with them.
Yeah, and I like how it was flushed out, but let's talk about the action a little bit, because they're starting very soon. So Broza has the orbital strike. He's forcing the push towards him at you. He only gets one kill, though. It's traded off by Mitch. They are moving forward inside the site for Cloud9. They put the wall up as well, but it's going to be a couple of clouds being thrown. Close range too. I don't know where the wall wasn't there actually for them to plant. Oh yeah, it was there. They got broken down, and then they're just getting picked off. The res is going to come up at least. Mitch looking for that kill, but drone lines both of them up. You know what? I really don't think the wall went across the whole way, because from the way that I saw Mitch's position, he boosted himself up behind a double stack, and they really just wanted to plant through the double brim smoke, and as that dissipated, it was out in the open, and the ass of the Sova was actually showing for Cutler.
He was just exposing himself there. Like, for a wedgie or frag, it doesn't really matter, but like, it was just a non-reaction. It was very nonchalant of, oh, the wall died behind me. I'm just going to continue planting. I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to pretend that they're not there, and then they won't be. That's how I get this plant in. But nevertheless, Cloud9, they started off this well on Ascent, being like 6-0 up or whatever it was. Now the tables have turned. Very hot, very cold, and 10's What is that? Like, the Blade Storm coming out, he wanted to get so much done, but just ran to his death. Like, I like the idea, but the execution, not so much.
Yeah, and now you can see that they're Chris on their aim too. Drone getting a nice tap in the face of Mitch. Dark Carver forcing now Cloud9 to fall back by the teleporter, but you still have a lurker towards this long A, but here is a big flank from Sabrosa as well. The lurker gets the dink onto Cutler, forced to fall back, but Sabrosa is about to come in for the kill, and it's going to be Vice, I think, still trying to move forward here. There you go. He's down. Last two guys, they know that it's going to be towards this B side because they went all around the map of A.
It just looked comfortable, just being able to exploit and take all that space. Like, I could just run all this distance, get somebody behind and get that frag, and Drone and Hayes doing a similar sort of thing. They were prepared for this kind of push. They had the utility ready. Their positioning was perfect. This is the kind of thing that you expect on Bind. Bind is very much the most popular map in Europe, I think. So when this map comes out to play, you expect these teams to have set executes, set placements, where they're going to place themselves, how they're going to default on potential rounds. All of this is what we're seeing. Granted, it's not at that sort of like microscopic level just yet because the game is just out, but you think about Counter-Strike and you think about all of the defaults of the plays that teams have. This is Team SoloMid being way ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and I was going to say they won so many rounds in a row with barely any people dead. I think even 3 Flawless going through. 10's getting the first kill onto Sabrosa, unfortunately. I was going to say they have so much money to work with. They're going for a double op setup. You have a run it back as well to try to clear the area to see 2 people towards that market side, and they're still trying to fight it. A paranoia to come out. Hayes forced to fall back. Even a neural theft. Position given away. 10's is now bursting inside that site with a tailwind, and the spike is now still towards that showers. They're trying to take Wardell down, who's waiting for his teammates to rotate, and finally the spike will go down at Tetris.
Wardell's going to slowly creep around. Not much to worry about on this left-hand side of the site. Of course, you can see the X-rays, which I love the fact that they're in the game, by the way. You can see roughly where people are. But this is the retake. This is the strength of this kind of composition. The TSM are running without the Sage. They have all of this intel, throwing out the Silver arrows, throwing out grenades, paranoia, smokes, all of this stuff. Cutler kills his teammate. Doesn't matter too much, though, as the Showstopper's going to come out to get the kill on Device. Knows roughly where the Silver is as the Hunter's Fury just came out. Wardell's being pushed away because they're just going to stall it out. So this is going to be most likely the first round on the board for C9. Really well played to keep TSM at bay here.
You got an orbital strike, a molly, nothing you can do there. Just trying to stay alive. So Wardell looking for some flashy plays, some kills, but he's going to die to the spike. He pretty much for Cloud9, he really didn't want to go for the hunt either, because of the amount of rounds that they lost in a row, the amount of investment they put into this round 2, you want to try to keep the money healthy and the buys healthy into the next few rounds here of this first half. It's not over yet though, right? It's only 1st to 13. It's max rounds 12, 7-1. If Cloud9 is able to pick this up and gain the momentum after this map win, or this round win rather, it could be 7-4 and it's a whole new ballgame.
Give themselves more of a chance. They looked really good on the defensive ascent. I would assume that would be the case there too when it comes to playing on Bind. When they played Gen G in the groups, they looked decent on Bind. They lost like, I think it was 13-10, right? They went in to score half and half, but 10's gets the full body shot onto Wardell right in the head. I won't use the wording I used yesterday because that was terrible, but that wasn't from 10's. 10's over the last couple of rounds has looked so much better. Seemed to have got the aggressive pushing out of this system. Now he's playing much more controlled and reserved with the operator, and it's very tricky now for TSM to deal with it. Even now, the classic pistol kill in the air. Drone kills him, but that's some styling.
Definitely, and you're going to start seeing that a lot, I think. I mentioned it yesterday, that jump peaks with the operator seems to be so accurate. The low jumps, the crouch, and then landing the shot, it's quick enough and it's accurate enough. As soon as you crouch and right-click and scope and get the shot, it's usually the kill. So Wardell outclassed, outmaneuvered by 10's in that round, and this gives a chance now for Cloud9 to get a second round onto the board. There's only 2 alive here for TSM versus 4. We have satchel charges coming down as well. Drone to fall. Last one is going to be Cutler. He at least gets the second kill, now to 33 HP, but you see one that is so far behind. That's it. I was going to say, Relics is still so far behind at the spawn side. It's a set molly from the spawn. It's onto the spike. Gonna be impossible. 7-2 now coming in for TSM, but at least 2 rounds in a row for Cloud9.
Feels that they're not just trying to outfrag TSM at this point, that they're just playing more objectively, like literally the objective, putting the spike on the site and holding off the retakes, which has been decent. It is tricky. It's a scary lineup to go against when you get that spike planted and you win a 5 versus 5 because of the intel that they can get, the smokes, the control, the damaging abilities that Raze has available to her. It's scary if you're Cloud9, you put that spike down onto the ground, then you've got to hold off against some of the scariest individual players in the world. world even there, but they played time, and there's only so much that TSM could do. There's only so much that Wardell could do if he has an operator, and everybody's just hiding like 15 feet away from him.
Look at TenZ continue to be super aggressive here with a shorty. So he went with shorties on openings with an operator. So I like this because he could go for operator, somebody falls back, he dashes forward, shorty close range gets the kill, right? I could see that type of play style coming in from TenZ. You've seen the way that he's played so far in the past few matches that you've watched or casted the Jet of TenZ and Cloud9. So this could still be a doable composition in terms of guns for that agent.
He's changed up his playstyle a lot more. We didn't really see that much operator at all from C9 in general when it came to Ascent. There wasn't really much need, so TenZ has changed up his playstyle to be very different to how he played it before. You can very much tell because right now he would be in the face of TSM with how he was playing those earlier rounds, but now it's not so much he's matured, but he's just playing the game a little bit differently. And right now, TSM aren't dealing with it all that well, but the damage was already done in the early game. Let's see how TSM can deal with this. Shinobi's going to be pushing through the smoke. Rosa gets a nice spot and gets a bit more intel that there are people pushing onto the site. If he just buys time, let Wardell try and do his thing, but just holding his ground, ready for the retakes.
And the lurk didn't work out there for Relics. At least there's only one person inside the site, so they could still make it a 2 versus 1 early before the rotate comes across, but they're not moving at all here for Cloud9. Both stacking up towards the APC. TenZ about to close in with the operator on it to Sabrosa. He sees the elbow. He's going for that kill with the short-range shorty, of course. Gets the kill there, but at least he's low on HP. Mitch cannot fall back to get the heal. Drone picks him off on the rotation from the pipe. He's moving in as well with Cutler. TenZ close range, does not land the shot, unfortunately. I don't even think he had a chance to get a shot out. Drone gets the pick, and now TSM, after losing 2 in a row, where it started to look very expensive in the economy, was a much-needed round that they needed to win here so that they could maintain with rifles in the next round.
Yeah, before it gets a bit too silly for Cloud9 to pull a few more rounds. A great retake, really, there. When you have an agent like Phoenix in your lineup, you feel comfortable to be able to let that spike get planted in the first place because Drone has all of the abilities and all the utility available considering he was holding on to the B site. So it could come in, surprise people, and just TenZ's positioning towards the end was just not good enough when you have the operator and you're holding a corner that close. There's nothing that he can really do. Well played from Drone to lead by example. We saw a lot of this on the split maps yesterday where he just takes that space all for himself and has that utility. He's doing it right now. He's pushing towards B ramp and just listening for steps potentially, but it is going to be B main that the site is going to be hit by. Relics, he's going to be there to spot it. But needs to be careful of the Blade Storm and use from TenZ.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. They wanted to go for the Owl Drone. They want to go for the Blade Storm and work behind it. Now they're dashing across. TenZ is looking for an opener inside that site. One is going to get tagged. He misses the right click, unfortunately, but the pistol's coming out. Pace is still looking for him. Finally, he gets the kill, upgrades to a weapon, through the cloud burst, trying to get some kills. But it does not work out. It's a 4 versus 4. Everybody teleports towards into an open site. They're going to get the plant. But we're going to have Sabrosa on a flank from short very soon. TenZ, meanwhile, does fall towards B side. And it's still going to look not easy for these guys to hold it. Thankfully, though, the Brimstone is still alive towards spawn. He could still throw a molly. Weiss wins that fight versus Sabrosa, though.
Weiss gets a nice frag there onto Sabrosa. The rotation was really good from TSM. They weren't buying any of TenZ's tricks where he's trying to use himself as bait on the B side. But here comes another rotation in. The spike is being planted, so they are playing from distance. There's no Hunter's Fury, there's no mollies I think set up. Actually, no, never mind. Relics had it lined up, he was just moving at the same time. He's that kind of player, can do 2 things at once. Cutler getting the blast pack kill onto Weiss, but more time being bought. This is what Cloud9's been really good at, and it seems to be working in their favor, but still, Cutler gets the damage and kills everybody. Time is not on their side. The spike gets deployed. And this is their win condition for Cloud9. It's just a shame we're going into halftime after this next round. Yeah,
that's right. So 8-3, a much needed round. They get it at this point. A nice round coming through. I mean, like I said, it was based off on how chaotic it was for TenZ inside that B site and everybody else pretty much of TSM on that rotation. Because as they're trying to hear the classic shots, the Blade Storm right click that miss. Hey, he's like, what the hell is he? Is he in the air or not? Everybody's just looking around. And that gave enough time actually for the rest of Cloud9 to just go through that teleport and get that spike down. Moving into the last round though, the economy's still good for at least the defenders. The attackers, you could see, there's 3 Bulldogs only as they're trying to take over this B side control early again.
All the pressure being put in, it's all guns blazing. They have the resurrect, so they can play a bit more aggro if they want to. Shinobi doesn't check that corner. There was the Phoenix right there. Drone is sat there, and he used the Eldra. They didn't even look. He can't be there, guys. It's not a chance. Sabrosa doing what Sabrosa's been doing all game, just pushing through and having all of the space advice, looking down the camera at his smartphone, just probably checking some of his favorite social media apps. Just gets shot in the back of the head. There's so much that he can do. And suddenly all of this pressure that was building from C9 on the B side is just evaporated.
Definitely, and now, Tens at least gets that pick onto Cutler. Hayes moving out, though, to trade it out. As you saw the tailwind from Tens once again. He does that a lot. Gets a kill, dashes inside the site, trying to see if he gets something else. Orbital's tried to come down. The spike is down towards Octagon at the same time, too. It's going to be a tough feat for Relic to try to clutch this 3 versus 1. Even a Molly to come down towards that hookah area, so he's pretty much stuck here in this smoke. There's even Shark Darks landing right behind him. He's in a dark cover. He's trying to come down where he doesn't make any noise, but as soon as the smoke dissipates, Wardell gets the pick with the operator, and now TSM take the lead 9-3 into this half.
This is more like it. Get a good look at scores on the doors at halftime when it comes to frags. Wardell's had some really clutch moments, but it's Drone that's had the most impact there. The three-headed dragon of Sabrosa, Drone, and Wardell has had a lot more success, I suppose, on this map, certainly. Like all of these individual players playing in very different ways, all working out clutch in important factors when it comes to playing up against Cloud9, who Tens has done okay in places. He's still top frag in his team lineup, but only 8 frags in 12 rounds. You would expect better, certainly with how amazingly he played on Ascent, right? So,
yeah, for sure. I think it's a total different Wardell that we see now into this. Oh, I like this one. I've never seen this spray. That's a really good one. I like Prius for catching these things. I cannot. I go to the gym 5 times a week and I still can't because I still have a fat belly. Nonetheless,
though, if I'm on my back.
Pistol round is now underway here as we do have 3 players inside the A site, even a camera up. So that's why we're playing semi-passively here inside you and towards the back of the site, really using that camera to gain that information. They tag one first, but it's a little too late. Drone's already moved through, but it's traded off by Vice. Then Wardell retaliates. Relics now still towards you, waiting for his teammates to rotate, and it's happening. You have a flank here from the showers, one from the A heaven, a shock dart from Wardell. That's the second one of this game. Mitch coming through the showers. Ace is now down. Tense under heaven, and Sabrosa had no idea where the shots were coming from. And a wall and a cloud burst. This is going to be impossible. 2 versus 2. The clock is ticking down. Satchel charges being thrown. Wardell gets the kill. He's actually off the... No, he didn't get the...
He went off of it.
Did he go off of it?
I
see it 29.28. I don't know what's going on. No, it's 9-4. Yeah, they got the defuse.
He got the defuse. I was going to say, I panicked so hard that I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, he had enough time. It was really well played to keep control of that. Mitch's position in there, pushing aggressively to take the bathhouse, was one of the key reasons why they got that map. I think if you push onto the A site, you need to have bathhouse control more than anything. You can't all just run through there because it's too much of a bottleneck, but having your finger in as many pies as possible is super important. But if those defenders can take that space away from you, A-site already has a lot of avenues that the defenders can retake the site from you, so you just need to be really careful there.
That's a nice shot there from Drone, just to try to retaliate from getting that spike defused from that previous round. That's already the first one to fall, and that is the Sova. So less information here on this retake, but Relics is going to play aggressively here on the top of the box. Gets the first kill, continues to spray through the cyber cage, and Hayes is going to run across, though, with the Spectre. So that's now 2 down, and only 2 left alive, actually, in total for Cloud9. As we're taking a teleporter towards B. This is a play. No! Everybody took the teleporter, but Cutler with the spike. So now it's going to be a crossfire setup. Tens has a judge, and I think the Mitch is going to be able to upgrade to a weapon at least 2. Yes, he picked up a Spectre. How the hell does this happen right now for TSM?
Any spikers in chat? Like, you just got to leave it there? Is it really that unimportant? Drone spots the head of Tens, but can't really get the frag in. Mitch's positioning's nice. He's done the damage enough, and Drone is still alive. Yeah, without the spike yet again, can you imagine?
And he didn't even pick up that Spectre right next to him. Okay, that's very gutsy from Drone, actually. But I guess at that point on a 1 versus 1, you don't really want to try to show yourself as well. A fake plant. He peeks up. Mitch gets the headshot. And that is going to be a 4-on-2, won by Cloud9 by 1. Not even small mistake. It was a disastrous mistake from Cutler.
I need to lay down. Like, that was just such a weird round. Like, you don't see these kind of teams make those kind of mistakes. It was just unfortunate, but teams will both move on from here, and I think this is looking decent for Cloud9, getting these 2 rounds on this defense. Now, of course, these bigger guns are going to be available to the attackers of Cloud9. Both teams going to have the bigger guns at least, but no operators available from either side. Let's see how TSM do on this this defense. And man, I'm still getting over it. I really need to have a lay down after that. that really took me for a walk, that one.
No, definitely. So a 9-5 scoreline now. A great job at least for Cloud9 on that previous round. Again, a 2 versus 4. Very well played there by Mitch with that Spectre, watching that pipe side on the rotation as TSM were coming in from both angles too, winning every single fight coming across. But now to start things off, Shinobi with the Owl drone that made towards his hookah, saw that paranoia. So that could be some information to say, look, there's maybe a couple of guys working towards this B sign, but you can see from this minimap, everybody from TSM is slowly walking back here towards the A, and they're looking for, I think it's going to be a 4-man push up towards short A.
It's looking to be that way. And this is a lot of pressure going in. There is a little bit of room to breathe, I suppose, when it comes to the backhouse too. Gradually, the Razor's going to take it slowly. Mitch is put under a lot of pressure, but manages to survive without really taking a lick of damage.
Oh,
and that's
no.
important considering he has the Resurrect available to him. Plan for Relics is good, but it's so difficult right now.
He did his job,
looking
though.
to try and get the plant in, but Cloud9 are just stopping it from happening.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. Relics, yes, he died, but he did his job. He walked through the smoke, got the kill, and then, yes, he died, but they were able to get a few trades to give a chance for them to maybe deny the plant. But unfortunately, they were able to retaliate for TSM's side, and it leaves it on a 4 versus 1. The issue right now is you could kind of see it. If you're trying to go for these execute, Ryan, toward the A side, and you don't have a Sage Wall to block up that line of sight or even block off the cover from anything shooting forward from the side of the site, it's very, very hard to plant there. I think at this point, if you're going for these 5-man or for these 5-man agents with no stage, you need to have the brimstone smokes and not the dark cover, because there were still some gaps there on that side of how it was placed.
Spike is going to go kaboom. Another big round for the attackers of TSM. First round in a while that they've got, certainly on this side as the attackers. Everything just sort of fell apart a little bit for C9. Granted, though, Tens did survive. He could give the gun that he was carried to somebody else and maybe pick up the operator. That might still be available to them, even on this side. It might be a case of a half buy. His money isn't looking all that good, so it is, yeah, just holding on to the Phantom and just follow Tens in onto the site, hopefully. Like, get a frag, pick up their gun, try to snowball as much as possible. Mitch has had a pretty decent game, too, when it comes to frags. Just one behind Tens, but Tens, you sort of expect him to have 5-10 more kills at this point. And it might be one of the reasons, but you can only expect so much from one player to do all of the dirty work for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. So now 10-5 going in here for Team TSM. We hear the Boombot heading towards the showers right now as they have one person playing close towards that closet, but the information is not going to be given away for that. At least, though, towards this short A side, Hayes does get the first kill onto Relics towards you. Paint shells to come out. That's actually going to hurt Vice. I was going to say down to almost nothing. Literally down to nothing. Cutler lands that with the paint shells into the site. Now Sabrosa to get the frag onto Shinobi 2. They clear out towards the side. At least Tens is already rotated, but Tens is already down. Last one to go is going to be Mitch. Does get the classic headshot, but it's immediately traded there by Sabrosa. So we're going to see 11-5 in favor of TSM. They're looking, and they really want to bring this to that third and final map.
Well, it was like the plays I was mentioning on Ascent, just Cloud9 running through smokes, going on very wide peaks, and taking engagements where they don't have the advantage. We just saw Sabrosa do that right at the depth of that round, right? Like, it feels that TSM look a bit more comfortable, a bit more confident, and a bit more zesty, I suppose, when it comes to their play style. And they can give away a few of these rounds to Cloud9. They don't need to worry about that too much, but this defense has been pretty decent, both sides trading rounds so far. As we switch in, but Drone is trying to push in aggressively. Relics is just going to Molotov and smoke just to stall time a little bit more. And even getting a frag onto Drone, actually, so catching off one. So it's now going to be a 4 versus 5. Now TSM might be considering going over to B. Mitch is going to keep a close eye on it, but doesn't spot the Omen on his left-hand side. He's going to peek it narrowly, but the frag is good. Mitch just getting the body shots in. The orbital strike almost catching out some rows and forces him back. And TSM are just pinballing from either side.
Definitely, and unfortunately, where they decide to go to, there's always going to be a stack happening here for the site, because Cloud9, because they have this one-man advantage, they don't really need to rotate players. So we're splitting things off and making it more difficult for TSM instead of trying to move in as a team. It's only going to be a two-man take with Cutler kind of lurking down towards his mid side. So if he could actually get a pick off the rotation, he's going to take Teleporter, but he's going to go face-to-face against Tens right after. So the initiation has to happen from Wardell and his teammate right now towards his Octagon, and they're even spotted on top of that from a recon arrow. So that is going to be one guy down. There's our rotation kill. Low HP is going to be Cutler, but there's only 24 seconds left on the clock. And like I said, he goes through the teleporter, Tens is there. It's going to be impossible for him to make it out. But at least we teleported back towards the A side. He's about to walk into a trap wire, though. So that's going to waste some time. And there you go. At least Cutler gets wall banged. And now with 10 seconds left on the clock, Sabrosa at least to get this plant down. Now can he clutch? Shock dart. A white swing, double white swing coming through, gets the first and unfortunately not the second one there onto Vice, and Cloud9 stays alive in this battle.
It was a really nice rotation to get around. You obviously saw 10 stay towards B site to get that kill onto Cutler, and the double peek right then, just to get that frag. One person went down, but Vice was able to confirm the kill. And it goes to show that there are moments of brilliance for Cloud9, certainly more on the Ascent map that we've seen here on Bind at least, but I think that's just because TSM are being outclassing them. They seem to be just outpacing them pound for pound in a lot of these engagements, and there's only so much I feel like Cloud9 can realistically do. I think the early game for them was pretty torrid with how aggressively they were playing on the attack, to be fair. But it's kind of like the Gen G game almost, where both sides are trading from one another, looking good, but a section of the game was where Cloud9 sort of fell apart. And by then, the damage was already done. It's looking to be a similar thing here, but they are looking certainly a lot better on this defense than they did on attack.
Sabrosa does have the combat stim onto the ground, so that's going to be two people walking on there, so they're trying to clear it out with the Recon Owl moving forward. But there's actually going to be 4 players already from Cloud9 in these positions at this B site. They're walking straight into a trap here for TSM. Luckily, though, they have a showstopper to work with, but he's lurking so far behind. I would have opened up with that, too. They have the Omen, so they could find some information. There you go. The Omen's inside the site. He's going to call it out. Orbital strike to say it, too. He knows that one's on a self boost. He actually goes for the full teleport to kill him to Mitch, but Tens and Relics, because of his position, he doesn't see them towards that garden side, that there was 2 more players there, and they're all dropping like flies. Tens now dropping the 3rd of this round, leaving now Wardell on his own. Operator shot miss, getting hunted down here by Tens, who's still going to move forward and hate and chase after him. Shark darts as well, moving in from that Sova, and Wardell looking still. I don't know, I think it's going to try to run towards Aiden Plant.
Most likely. Having the operator's not good. Maybe if there's some other gun that he can pick up, might just even save, to be honest, because getting the plant down and fighting up against 4 people, all with rifles, is just going to be too hard. So he's just going to sort of sit, get ready for the next round. I loved how Tens played there. I remember like the first bit of gameplay that I saw from Shroud, when this game was in like the closed beta weekend before the game went into closed beta, and it was the whole like playing Jet, getting a frag, moving, using utility to change up your positioning, getting another frag, using utility to move again. That's exactly what we saw from Tens, and it's super important. I don't know why we're getting so much. Look at that face. That man has seen some stuff right there.
That's signature observing from the Prius right there.
Just get right in his grill, see what Wardell's looking at. Maybe even hear some of the things that you might be shouting if you get that close too, maybe. But like that's Jet. Like I think Jet very early on in the career, like certainly in the closed beta tournaments, Jet wasn't used all that much. But now she starts to be picked up. You have Mixwell over in EU, you have Artis over in EU too. All of these like Jet operator players. Mm-hmm. Granted, it's like Wardell that we usually see with the operator, but Tens there with a rifle shows that this agent is one of the best. And if you have the right kind of player, putting them on Jet is the way to win some of these rounds and some of these games.
Yeah, some people thought it was going to be that Reyna because it was going to be that self-heal, that dismiss, to devour to get information as well too. But somehow Jet just getting those cloud bursts, right? It's easy to kill, tailwind to back into safety. So just some players that are good mechanically could definitely use this agent as Jet to their advantage. This round though, 5 players alive for both of these teams. It's a very slow-paced round. A lot of respect now given from TSM onto Cloud9, but finally the first gunshots are ringing through the walls of Hookah as a couple are spotted. But Drone still staying for a bit while the other ones are falling back as the spike is still down towards A. A dink coming through the wall, though, from Drone. That's going to put Jet, the 10s down to 58 HP. Hayes is clearing out showers. You know they're going to finish towards this A side. Face-to-face very soon as Relics is pushing forward, and Hayes has a better angle. There you go, the headshot. He's now down. It's only going to be one player inside this site. He's going to call that recon arrow. He knows it's going to be a full execution towards A now. Vice is trying to hold it towards you. Shinobi, meanwhile, falls down, and Sazzle Chargers are coming through across as well, and Sabrosa lands him through the cyber cage. The flank already comes across from Mitch, though. It's traded off. I'm trying to give you this microphone, Ryan, but everybody's just dying one by one, and it is the map point for this second map for TSM.
Sometimes these teams just need to frag it out. Sometimes it isn't like, okay, let's peak at the same time. It's just go, go, go. This is a deathmatch server now. And just like the comfort, I suppose, the TSM played there, they were expecting positions that Vice was holding on the Cypher right in that corner. Sabrosa just sprays it and gets the frag. It's easy for them because they just have a rough idea on how Cloud9 are looking to play this. And I think the biggest difference is TSM on their defense, Sabrosa, like I sort of mentioned, would push along this part of the map that we're seeing on screen on the defense and play super aggro. Kind of like Relics tried to do there, but I guess Sabrosa did it better, is basically how I would describe it, because Relics gets punished there by Wardell, and this is looking to be the map of TSM.
The worst part is that recon arrow hit Wardell in the chest, so it was on him the whole time pinging, but I think he got the kill onto Relics just before. So that Showers is now into position, into control. Oh, a nice wallbang, and a Hunter's Fury to come out. He lands it onto Vice, trying to connect here onto Jet, and he does a double kill onto Tens with the Hunter's Fury. We're now moving inside this A site with 4 plays alive versus 1. And where's that res? It's going to be way too far right now for Mitch to try to get a res for his teammates. It's pretty much sealing a deal unless Mitch can pull something out of his you-know-what and only has a Bulldog to work with.
The dream is real. Give him all of your energy. This is going to be... No, never mind. Sabrosa finishes it up. And just before we sort of get in there, it was just like Tens when he had the Hunter's Fury on him, pulling out all of the breakdancing on the Jet to try and not get hit. The fact that I think Vice and Tens were stacked on each other, as they were both hit by the Hunter